Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of She Stays Wet with your girl, Joanna Devine. Hi, and we're going to talk about a bunch of amazing things today. But before we do, I just want to thank you for your continued love and support. And if you like what you see and you like what you're about to hear, please, please, please click subscribe, like, and share the videos. So, here's another episode. Let's talk about some makeup. Okay. So my journey with makeup is very interesting. So I want to take you back in the time machine. Ooh. Let's go back to 1995 when I first started utilizing makeup. Okay. So in 1995, I graduated from high school and I left home and moved down to Jacksonville, Florida. In Jacksonville, Florida is where I first discovered the club scene. In 1995, in those years, was the years of the club kids, but it was in Florida. I had always wanted to experiment with who I was and knowing who I was, but I was too afraid to actually do it in my home. So when I left home and was living on my own in dorms and so on and so forth, I pretty much lost my mind. Let's just say that. So push comes to shove, 1996, 97 comes, and I get deeper and deeper into makeup, into the club scene. And then in 1997 is when I met Dominique A. Won't say their last name, and met my first quote unquote drag family, and then started doing performances and started doing my own makeup, because in the very beginning Dominique was the one who was doing my makeup until I felt comfortable to do my own. I remember the times that I did do my own makeup, I would kind of emulate my mother and so on and so forth. But then when Dominique started to do my makeup, I tried to like emulate that and tried to recreate it on my person. But then 2 years later, in like 98, 99, is when I left Columbus, moved down to San Antonio, Texas, and was there for approximately 3 months, and I started really performing on my own. So at that time, I was doing my own makeup. Nobody else was doing it for me. I was doing my own hair. I was doing my own costumes. But as you guys know, in a previous video, I had to leave San Antonio because of an ex. So when I came back to New York, it was like around the year of 1999. And when I came back to New York, I immediately needed to get a job. So I started working for this company called AOL Time Warner. And I worked for Field and Stream, Outdoor Life, and Outdoor Explorer magazine. Yeah. And I was selling ad space in the back of the magazines. So at that time in 1999, I started going out even more and really developing my drag persona and like really performing. And like I had all of my friends here in New York City that I had left in 1995, and I kept in contact with them because I would come back every so often and do drag shows and like see my friends and so on and so forth. So like when I came back, I will say his name. His first name is Ryan. I met this guy named Ryan, and he, at the time in 1999, 2000, had worked for MAC Cosmetics. And at that time, MAC Cosmetics was the end all be all. I couldn't afford to use any MAC Cosmetics, but one night I went to Ryan's house and Ryan did my makeup in MAC Cosmetics. I had this big performance and show. I think it was for a Halloween show out on Long Island with my drag sister at the time, Angel Alexander. It was in like the year 2000, yeah, 2000, because it was before, I think it was before I started for MAC Cosmetics, yeah. So when Ryan had did my makeup and then he saw my makeup applications, he was like, you know, you're really good. Maybe you should interview and work for MAC Cosmetics. And I had never thought being a makeup artist was a possible career because I had never really met anyone that worked, you know, in that industry. I knew being a makeup artist, you could have a career. Let me just stop that. But I didn't know doing drag, doing makeup, and doing all of that could encompass a career, because I was doing drag at night, I was working during the day, and I was making really, really good money. And I didn't know that I would be able to make that kind of money doing makeup. So let's fast forward. Ryan got me an interview at the Roosevelt Field Mall location in, I want to say, Glen Clove, New York. What town is that? Roosevelt Field Mall. And I had an interview, and they said, you have to bring a model in order to show us what you can do. I was so nervous. Called all of my friends. None of my friends were daytime friends. They were all nighttime friends. So nobody was up during the day. So the only person that could come that day, and it was on a weekend, I'll never forget, it was on a Saturday. Because we would all like go out on Friday nights, and none of my friends, so I didn't want to do their makeup anyway. So I asked my mom, and my mom was like, you're interviewing to be a makeup artist? Like, is this a real career? And I said, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I was young. I was still figuring things out. And I think that she knew that I was figuring things out. By that time I was out and like really figuring myself out, but I was still holding in a lot of secrets and like a lot of things about my femininity, and I wasn't sharing anything. But, I say all that to digress and to just say she showed up for me. And I'll never forget that interview. She looked so horrible. I used one color for her whole face. So I used the same blush for her eyeshadow and on her lip, put a lip gloss on it. And I luckily matched her foundation. I luckily made her look normal, but God knows it was because I was nervous. And I did her makeup, and she looked she looked in the mirror and she was like, this is nice. And push comes to shove, I got the job, and I was with them for 8 years. I became a retail manager within the first 3 years. I became fashion show certified within the first 2. I started working backstage on all of their Fashion Week fashion shows, and then I started getting called for Olympus Fashion Week. At that time was held in Bryant Park, and that's where I met all the celebrities like Naomi, like Paris, like Kabuki, like Oscar de la Renta, like Beyonce, like, oh my God, Star Jones, Maya. Who else did I meet? Kamora Lee Simmons. I did a show for Baby Fat. Oh my God, I love doing that show. I met Heatherette, and I did so many amazing things. But then I started getting called for other things because they saw that I was like really talented, and I was doing work for Cirque du Soleil, and I did work for the Go-Sees for Valentino and Oscar de la Renta, and just all different kinds of things, Broadway Bears, and just, I had a wonderful career. I have actually been thinking about possibly going back to MAC Cosmetics because I had such a wonderful career with them, but I don't want to necessarily go back. I want to go forward. So like where I am now, after all of that experience and all of those years and all of the different companies that I worked for, obviously I'm not going back to MAC Cosmetics because I work for an amazing company now that I'm most likely going to be starting to do makeup for again. And that's like really, really exciting. So I say that to say, now I'm in a state of like, I'm in my 40s, and I know all of the chemicals in makeup. I know all of the things that are in makeup. And when I'm home, when I'm, even when I'm out in the street, like during the day and going to the store and whatever, I really want to embrace my natural skin, because my natural skin is something that I'm very, very proud of. I love my freckles. I have a lot of freckles. I don't know if you guys can see them, but I get compliments on my freckles all the time. The person that I'm dating now makes me feel so comfortable in my own skin. Like he's like, oh my God, you look so beautiful. Like you're so this, you're so that. And I'm really wanting to believe it. And yes, getting on camera, sometimes I like to have makeup on, but sometimes I don't. I'm a real person. And I don't want to, totally envelop my skin in makeup all the time because I know what makeup can do to your skin if you wear it on a day-to-day basis. And I'm really trying to stay as smooth as possible for as long as possible. So that is where I am with makeup now. I will rock a face when I go out with my girls, when I go out on Sunday nights to be with my sister Rebecca. Hey, Rebecca. When I go to hang out with my friends, I will put on a sick smoky eye. I will hook this skin up. But I really, really, really want to get to a place where I'm 100% comfortable in and out of makeup. Not there yet, but I'm on my way. I really look at people like Alicia Keys and look at her and like just Erykah Badu and those natural girls who, yeah, they can rock a face, but they look even more beautiful without it. And I really want to believe that I am enough without makeup on. My skin is imperfect. I have areas of darkness and lines of demarcation and things, but everybody does, and I don't want to hide behind makeup because like wearing makeup during the day, it looks, unless I'm talented at what I do, but even with what I do, sometimes my makeup looks makeup-y, and it's no fault of mine. It's just the environment that we live in. It's the summertime. The last thing I want on my face in the summer is a face full of makeup because I'm not walking around here looking like Swamp Thing. It's just not gonna happen. And like melting and stuff, and then your makeup gets all in your glasses and it gets in your hair, and then it starts to stick, and then you have to powder it, and then when you powder it, it starts to separate, and when it separates, it looks crazy, and then you just want to take it off, but you don't take it off, and then you want to take it off, and then you want to go home. I just want to be me, be the best me possible, and I've been doing makeup on myself for 30 years now, and it's a lot. It's a lot. And I just want to get to the place where I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned if I don't. Like, I like me either way. I really love when I do my makeup and you can't see it, and it just blends in perfectly, and then you go out. But that's at night. Like at night, it just looks flawless. But during the day, when that sun is beating on you, like in the day, in the winter, in the fall, yeah, because it's not going to be separating and looking crazy. But in the summer, no. Love y'all. I will rock a lip gloss and put on my lashes. But even today, I was washing my face and doing my eye, like my eye creams, and I got like a little bit in my eye. I was burning. So yeah, now it's not. But I see a little bit better with these because these are blue light blockers, and it'll prevent me from getting a headache. So that's my journey with makeup. That's me and makeup. So yeah, hope you enjoy. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.